Hey there, and welcome to Catherine's Conversations in the Country. I'm Catherine Lane. We are back in the studio today because the weather's still nasty, cold, rainy. We'll get back outside and I'll have you out to the farm at that time. This is Alycia Toohey. She is a licensed clinician and a marriage and family counselor at Palmetto Counseling and Consulting. Yes, in Rock Hill, South Carolina. And we have been talking about kids getting back to school and their mental health. And now the big one, I want to talk about depression. And this probably is going to be more relevant to the older school kids, but maybe not. It can show itself very early on. Is there any particular kind of kid that is more prone to depression? Like, is there an ADHD? Is there a compulsive issue? Is there something else underlying before a kid can become depressed? Or is it unfortunately open for anyone?
It's open for anyone. There's some people that believe that there's a medical component, and which there is, because there's a chemical component in our brain. When we're not getting, I believe it's enough dopamine, we're at risk of becoming depressed because we're not producing enough of this chemical, this feel-good chemical for ourselves.
So that's a medical reason.
That's a medical reason. Other reasons can be, like the last segment, bullies, not being heard at home, not feeling seen at school, not feeling connected. It's not feeling connected to anybody in their world.
What are some signs? Let's start with a younger child. What are some signs that your child may be depressed?
So there are changes in behavior. Kids, and it's different for boys and girls. Sometimes it's the quieter girl that may be depressed. Sometimes it's the boy who has a lot of energy that looks a little bit more like an ADHD kid, but truly they're trying to mask. So they're trying to be the boisterous when maybe inside they really don't feel that way.
Right.
So honestly, getting your child to a counselor so they can talk. We're the professionals. We know what to look for.
And at home. Again, talking at home.
Yeah. It's so important. And really that connection that I was speaking about, kids know when you're not engaged in the conversation. They know by your body language. They know by your eyes flitting around the room, looking at the piles of laundry or whatever.
And that's so easy to do. Don't beat yourself up if you've done that, because I've been guilty of this too.
Well, and it happens.
It happens. But just be more mindful.
Exactly.
Like this is a good reminder to be mindful that, especially if they say, hey, my grandson would say, because he composed music on the computer, and he would say, hey, Grandmama, come, look at this musical piece that I've conducted composed. And, there were times when, he always wanted validation, and this was something that a lot of us didn't have growing up. I don't know how some of us made it through life.
Honestly.
Because my parents, God love them, they were the best parents, but they didn't want to hear about mental things. I know my dad, I tried to talk to my dad one time, who was the sweetest daddy in the world. And he banged his fist on the breakfast table and said, enough! He didn't want, he just wanted it fixed, He just wanted it fixed. But now we realize we have to invest in our children's mental health. We have to, especially with everything they're facing now. They're much more prone to getting depressed. They've got more coming at them.
Way more. I mean, they are the internet generation now. If you were born before 2000, yeah, I am. But
back in the 1900s,
back in those 1900s, we didn't have the distractions
right?
of a cell phone, or maybe you had a computer, but it was at home plugged in. You weren't taking it with you. So we had less exposure to the world around us. All we had was radio. We had television.
Yeah.
We had the newspaper.
Right. The library.
Yes, the library.
Yeah.
So all of these, we had the encyclopedias.
Yeah.
We didn't have Google.
Right.
So we didn't have the exposure that these kids have now.
Yeah.
They have exposure to everything.
Which is so scary and sad in a way. I mean, I'm happy about the progress, don't get me wrong, but it makes me so sad at how easily children can access information that they shouldn't be accessing. And even if you forbid it on your own phones, other kids have got phones.
Right,
and
exactly.
They're seeing things, not to mention the online bullying, that's there too, but just there's some things children shouldn't hear and see, and that's what they're the most curious about,
Well, and even when we were younger, you heard about wars, you heard about conflicts, but you didn't see it.
Right.
And these kids have access to wars, to pornography.
Yeah.
They have access
And
to all of these more violent things.
and seeing that too soon is not good. Their minds can't
Process it.
I mean, like, I still can't process a lot of what we've just mentioned. I mean, it's just too much.
Yeah.
And when you're a child, that can have effect on their mind. My daughter was telling me yesterday, because I was kind of strict with her, and she's like, Mom, I remember you she had do you know what Oingo Boingo is? It's this group called Oingo Boingo. They were fine, but the cover of their album was like kind of evil imagery, and she goes, I remember when you took away that Oingo Boingo album, and I'm like, yes, you did not need to see that imagery at your age. Now that might be extreme, but
I think our parents did try to protect us a little.
Right.
I'm not saying that younger generation parents are not protecting.
It's just more difficult.
It's just more difficult for you to try and protect.
Right.
Whereas our parents, it was a lot easier for them to protect because there were a lot fewer platforms.
And the reason why I'm mentioning all this is because I think having so much coming at them from all different directions, in real life and online, I can't help but think there's a correlation between that and so many kids suffering from depression now.
Well, yeah, they're seeing more.
Yeah.
They're seeing more than what they have the language for.
Right.
Because we develop language incrementally, correct? We don't come out of the womb speaking in full sentences, and we get the language as we develop. And I mean, even at 2, we're not coming out with wonderful sentences that we're saying right now. That's after education, learning what to say, growth. The human brain isn't even fully developed until 26.
Ow.
Yet we're considered adults at 18 and legally able to drink by 21.
Right. Well,
so we're already, if those are things that you're doing before 21, smoking, drinking, any of those, drugs, those are things that are impacting a brain that's not even fully developed.
So try, I mean, not that I'm one to give advice, but I often think if I could do it all over again, might have grown now. And I tried to do this, but it's more difficult now, I think, for younger parents, is to put into your child, what you want them to to grow on, retain, to have in their minds, as they grow, and
Life lessons.
yeah, life lessons and time and talking. And speaking of talking, we only have a couple of minutes left, but let's talk about what's the difference between a regular surly teenager, which we all were and are at some point, and whenever there's a problem. Like, when do you know, okay, I need to seek some professional help here. This is not normal.
When there's a change in their behavior. So if you have a child who's that surly teenager and they immediately become quiet, that's a change in their behavior.
Right.
If you have a regularly quiet kid who all of a sudden becomes boisterous, that's a change.
Right.
So any changes in their typical behavior, and each child is a little bit different. So your neighbor's kid's behavior might be completely different than your child's behavior. So look at just your child.
And
when I'm saying,
yes, and again, talk. Conversation.
Yeah. Even if they don't want to, you can just sit there
Right.
and sit next to them until they're ready to talk.
Make them talk.
No, but there's some kids who find comfort in just having their parents sit next to them.
Yeah. Or maybe even if you have to, and I'm just spitballing here, if they don't want you to get out of my room, just say, okay, I'll be right outside the door.
And you could sit right outside the door.
And then they know you were there. And then
Yeah.
I think by that act, that might warm their heart a little bit and warm them up a little more to talking.
Yeah. Yeah. They do.
There's so much. There is so much. If you want some more information about getting your kids ready to go back to school, what happens when they get in school, if there's anxiety, if there's bullying, if there's signs of depression, tell people where they can get in touch with you.
So I'm at pccrh.com. So that's Palmetto Counseling and Consulting in Rock Hill. I'm in the Rock Hill office. We also have a Fort Mill office. I get a little busy this time of the year, so I do try and keep openings for new clients, though.
You could also go to NAMI.org, the National Alliance on Mental Illness.org. These are some organizations that I've had personal great interactions with. Also AFSP.org. If you are in any kind of mental health crisis, or you know someone who is, or if you just have a question about mental health, you can dial 988. If there's an emergency, you can dial 911. So thank you, Alycia Toohey.
Thank you.
Appreciate you giving us some
No
good
problem.
information. All right, y'all be well and have a great school year.